What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a Week 8 NFL 2016 recap. We're going to start off with the Bengals and Redskins right now. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys very honestly, I fully expected the Redskins to lose this game. And then I realized, I'm like, Marvin Lewis coaches the Bengals. I always have to remind myself about who coaches who and what's going on, because a lot of these coaches find ways to lose games and, to let the fans down. And it's not really... sometimes it's not fair to blame the coach. Sometimes it's like, the players that... No. When it's in history of coming up short in big games and stuff like that. Now, I know the Redskins kicker missed the kick in OT, and that's what made it a tie. But that's not what my issue is. Kirk Cousins played well. Okay, Andy Dalton played well. In my opinion, they both played well. It was a high-scoring game. Early, which is good. You get up Sunday, unless, some guys got to go to church, some guys, whatever, but it was a good early morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Very good game to watch, just to see what's going on. It gets your blood going on a Sunday, all right? But then when you see a picture of Marvin Lewis on the sideline, you're like, your blood kind of stops cold. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy right here, you already know a lot of the things are going to happen. Look, we're not expecting anything from the Bengals while Marvin Lewis coaches there. Let's just be honest about it. I just hope that the players there are able to get as much money as possible, because they won't be getting a ring or anything like that while Marvin Lewis is coaching there. So, speaking about Kirk Cousins, who happened, he's on the franchise tag. This is very important for him because he's showing he still got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of guys are very upset about his whole thing about you like that and all that stuff. Look, I understand the man has no business, having catchphrases and he didn't really do nothing, but he's playing well. So let's give him some credit about that. A lot of people look for people to fail. I want to see production. If I don't see production, I'm going after you, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's just simple as that. It is what it is. So that's why I haven't really, I haven't put the verdict out on Kirk Cousins yet, because he's able to do certain things. He's able to win when I think he's going to lose, and that's huge. Even though he's playing in a division where Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott are going apeshit. But I'm going to get to that in a second. Let's jump to the Chiefs and the Colts. Andrew Luck, it is what it is with him, okay? He's showing... what's crazy about that draft with him and RG3? They're both showing that they have tremendous flaws. And even though I was one of the guys that picked Andrew Luck to be a good successor for Peyton Manning, he won't be. And people are mad at me when I say it. I'm like, look, the guy is prone to making bad decisions. He's just prone to doing that. I understand that Vontae Davis got hurt very early in that game. I understand all that. I understand that, bro, Alex Smith got hurt, and bum-ass Nick Foles came in and threw a touchdown immediately to Tyreek Hill. Look, I'm not here to try to make excuses for anybody. I'm trying to make you guys realistically look at your team. You guys rage at me. Oh, Jubal, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, blah, blah. Okay, all right. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so you let me know when he starts doing something right. The guy got away with it from saying he was injured last season. I understand that. I played football. I had cracked ribs or bruised ribs or whatever kind of ribs. Very painful. All the stuff he went through, I understand that. He's healthy now, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what other excuse you guys want to use. This guy's getting paid tremendous amounts of money. Let me just explain something to you. There's a lot of people, no matter what you do, that are hungry and are looking to do exactly what you do. So when you get to a certain position, to be able to do it at that level, you have to embrace that and be able to completely justify why you're getting that. In my opinion, you just can't go out and continuously do the same things. And that's what I'm seeing from Andrew Luck. And it's as simple as that. I don't care. The guy sucks, bro. Look, if you have him in fantasy, you're not happy right now. If you're a fan of the Colts, you're not happy right now. So whose fault is it? Whose fault is it right now? You gonna blame Chuck Pagano? This guy, Chuck Pagano, protected him and almost lost his job when he knew the guy just sucks. Sometimes it turns out like that. A guy just starts to decline early in his career and he just sucks. We've seen it many times. I don't know why everybody's so fascinated by it. Look, you suck. He sucks. That's it. I don't care. Cardinals and Panthers. The Panthers came out and just started beating the hell out of the Cardinals. Cardinals suck. Terrain Matthew, he had some kind of injury or something like that, right? I don't know what was going on with him. I was turning through the channels and I just saw that. At first I saw the Cardinals was getting raped, so I just try to avoid it because I don't really want to see what's going on. I'm like, these are trap games in the NFC West. It's always a trap game, and I'm a betting man, so I always get reamed on games like this. But I did know the Panthers would win this because the Cardinals are just not playing the same way, and Carson Palmer is still their quarterback. So when I look at that, I already know what's going on. Once I see that Carson Palmer is your quarterback, I already know you're losing games most of the time, so I'm not really worried about it. So as far as Cam Newton goes, he has been getting a lot of hits. He got hit low several times this game. You know, when he was running forward and he fell and they tried to hit him and it was almost a questionable head-to-head contact, you're a runner at that point. I understand why the refs didn't call it, but the guys are hitting him low and doing a lot of crazy things to him. And I have an issue with that just for safety. You guys are promoting safety and all this stuff. They're outright after the play is over going for his legs. In the first game of the season, when they played, you know, the rematch between the Denver Broncos, what happened with that was when the player launched himself at Cam, that was a very, very interesting thing that happened, because that flag also, was that flag picked up or was it offset with another penalty? I don't remember what happened with it, but they are treating Cam like a running back all the time, even when he's in the pocket. But I think it becomes difficult because they look at his size. It's like LeBron James in the NBA. He shouldn't get the call when they're slapping him on his arm and punching him in the nuts because he's so big. That's BS to me. You know, what you're blessed with has nothing to do with the actual penalties and the calls that you should get. You know what I'm saying? So I really think Cam has a point here. I think he has to explain it properly because he's vowing to speak to the commissioner, who the commissioner really don't give a F about anybody but just his pockets. But at the same time, people have to consider that he can still get hurt very, very badly with the way that these guys are just getting away with anything. If you can get a penalty for something for your team because of your athleticism and what you do, that's huge. But they're doing some crazy things to this boy. And it's starting to get a little wild, man. It is. The Raiders and the Buccaneers. Amari Cooper and Derek Carr, that's a connection that's going to be going on for a while. Crabtree is no crab-ass mother effer anymore anyway. That dude's been making some major plays. But Derek Carr is so impressive, man. This guy, he's a true get it down the field, deep throwing dude, bro. You know, honestly, this guy makes me so happy to watch him play right now for the Raiders. I wish that Al Davis would have been able to see some of this because he invested so much into this team. And looking at the Raiders play, man, over the last couple of times, I'm like, look, man, wow. Only problem with them, Latavius Murray. That dude's a bum. But look, listen, regardless of all of that, Derek Carr has such a bright future. His brother David Carr was a bum, but this guy is huge. And Amari Cooper dropped a key pass that could have helped Seabass not miss like 55 field goals. Seabass is really starting to piss me off. I think that guy's on steroids. You saw the veins in his arms like on the sideline while he's just standing there? Like, why is he a kicker that's looking like that? Like, this dude is just out there drinking beer and lifting weights, bro. This guy's Seabass. But throwing for 513 yards, I think he broke a lot of different records for the franchise overall. No Raiders quarterback, I believe, was able to do that, regardless of how many time they had. And they had some good quarterbacks there also. And just looking at the Raiders, it's exciting. Jameis Winston overthrew people all day long, man. And it's very, very hard to overthrow Mike Evans, but he was doing it. And they lost this game in the fourth quarter because the Buccaneers defense is not able to tackle, and they did whatever they wanted, and they just didn't make plays when it was necessary. But I'm going to let you understand this right now. Jameis Winston, if he continues to do what he's doing, it may be very, very detrimental overall because they may have to make a decision. Because he consistently overthrows the goddamn ball. With such a big arm, he should be practicing throwing the deep ball. You got a big arm. It's like Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford has a big arm. That dude's very, very accurate when he throws the ball downfield. Very, very accurate. He'll underthrow and overthrow some things here and there. But for the most part, if you're open running wild downfield, Matthew Stafford's going to get it to you. That's another big arm quarterback. You got to step your game up. You're starting to look like a doodle stain on toilet paper, bro. You better get your stuff together, man. Jameis Winston, bro, you got to really do something, man. It's not good. Seahawks and the Saints. This game was very, very interesting. Again, the NFC West with the Seahawks, bro. Listen, the Cardinals and the Seahawks and the Panthers are questionable. These three teams right here, San Francisco, we already know was out of it. We were trying to figure out in the NFC West what's going to be doing what's going to be happening. We know the Saints is in NFC South, and that division pretty much is probably going to be locked up by the Atlanta Falcons. But the Seahawks always have a problem with Drew Brees. Have you guys noticed that? Like, this matchup right here is always an issue. No matter how bad the Saints are doing and how good the Seahawks are doing, the Saints always give them problems with Drew Brees. Drew Brees finds dudes all the time. And I'm not saying that in a homosexual way. I'm saying that he finds dudes on the field all the time. Dudes, it doesn't matter who's playing D, who's doing what's happening. This guy is so efficient at the quarterback position. And I keep saying that he's washed up. He just needs somebody to get open, bro. That's all he really needs. Like, I've been going hard on Drew Brees. Some games he's just so trash. But overall, he's consistently a stud. And I can't, what can I say about that? You know, watching this man work is magic, and I'm like, wow, dudes are just getting. Most of the time, the guys are not even open. He's throwing the ball way before they're open, and he's just gauging what's going to happen and doing it. Like, that's very, very difficult to do. If you guys have actually played the sport, you know, it's a very difficult thing to do, to read and know that your receivers are going to do the right thing and be where they're supposed to be. Drew Brees is unbelievable, man. The Seahawks, though, yo, congratulations to Russell Wilson getting Ciara pregnant. Good stuff by you, bro. Keep doing what you're doing, because he has become a joke, an outright joke. And he's going to continue to let people down, bro. Look, I wish him the best. Get your money. But I don't see them trying to keep him going forward when there's going to be so many other quarterbacks that have some proven records in the future. He go F himself. Lions and the Texans are supposed to lose this game. But I will give Osweiler some credit. He tried to overthrow DeAndre Hopkins on that one-handed catch for the touchdown. And DeAndre Hopkins, you know, he made a great play. Nothing that he did was really accurate. I don't know why people are so mad at me for saying that he's a bum. He is a bum. DeAndre Hopkins is supposed to be really shining, very, very bright right now. You know what I'm saying? The guy has tremendous talent. That's one of the guys in the league that you can't really play a one type of coverage on. He reminds me of like an OBJ, but just like a different build. Like he'll make spectacular catches when his quarterback is throwing the ball extremely horrible. And I'm talking about like, what is he doing? Is he serious? Sometimes I'm like, Osweiler, what are you doing, bro? And then they made him, at certain critical parts of the game, when they shouldn't have had him passing and he should have been running, he's almost threw picks. Like, this guy, I'm telling you, Osweiler's a dangerous dude, bro. And I know that they said the way they structured his deal is like a 2-year deal, but it's going to get dangerous there. I'm telling you right now, it's going to get really, really dangerous with the Houston Texans. They're going to have to make a decision about this, because this guy's going to be stinking up the joint. Like when you go into like a gas station bathroom, bro, when a dude just went in there and blew the whole thing up and walks out with a smile on his face. That's what I see when I see, Osweiler's face, bro. It's really, really bad right now. And that's what I'm trying to make sure you guys understand. It's a very serious situation for the Texans, because you can't continue to go into that. The Lions had an extremely bad game, though. So we're going to have to touch on that, later on, because Jim Caldwell is the coach. So we already know what's going to happen. The first time that the Bills played the Patriots, they didn't have Tom Brady. Well, guess what? Tom Brady was there this time. And Rex Ryan bent over. Rex Ryan bent over and took whatever Bill Belichick was giving. I'm going to tell you, it has to be very, very difficult, because for all of us, whoever's listening to this recap right now, you probably have played sports at some point in your life, no matter what. And you know what it's like to have a rival and not be able to beat that rival. I do. I know. You know what I'm saying? I know, but we got wins sometimes. For you to always consistently lose, if you're in Rex Ryan's shoes, when Tom Brady's there, Tom Brady's that guy. Like, he beat him with the Jets that one time in the championship. What was that? That was the No, it wasn't the championship. It was the like the semifinals, whatever that, the divisional or something like that. The whole time they beat them, and they lost in the championship. That had to be so huge for Rex Ryan. But let's just be honest. The Bills are done. They're 4-4. I don't think, based on the way everybody else is playing in the other divisions, they'll get a wild card. And it's going to be another season where Rex Ryan was just running effective mouth and nothing happened. But Tom Brady, though, 315 yards, 4 touchdowns. Roger Goodell is going to have to hand the Patriots the Lombardi Trophy. And guys are saying, yeah, bro, you're a closet Patriots fan. Are you idiots blind? They went freaking, 3-1 without Tom Brady. Tom Brady's been lighting the goddamn field up since he's been back. Defensively, they look lackluster some weeks. Then they come out like this, and dudes just blasting people. Like McCourty blasted. Yeah. Listen, I almost choked. I almost choked when I just thought about the hit that McCourty was giving out. I'm going to tell you this right now, okay? Let me be very, very clear about what's going on. The Patriots are the most balanced team in the NFL right now. And that makes them the most dangerous team in the NFL right now. And I understand that they will have to play the Denver Broncos at some point, but you're not going to fool the Patriots 2 times in a row, unless you're the New York Giants in the Super Bowl. But I'm going to tell you this again. Looking at the way that this season is going, they may get one more loss, bro, but more than likely they're going 14-2. So good luck with anybody playing the Patriots. Jets and the Browns, this was a straight dookie show. And I actually thought the Browns were going to get their first win. And let me just be very, very clear about it, because I keep saying that Hugh Jackson is going to be fired. I still stand by that statement that he's going to be fired, or his coach is going to be fired, someone's going to be fired. But you have to keep in mind that the reason that all this is going on is because he took a chance on RG3. Now, the reason why at first I was like, give RG3 a chance was because he took a year off, and I thought he would be a lot more fresh and ready to go. Then I watched him play. then I realized he was a bum again. And that really hurt me because I want to believe that these young players can go out there and do stuff. I really want to believe Andrew Luck can go out and make plays, but they don't want to believe it because they go out there and play like straight garbage. And it's right in your face. It's directly in your face. And at this point right now, you know, the Browns are done. We already knew the Browns are done. But it's going to be very, very sad that they got to fire Hugh Jackson. It's going to be very sad about that. But 0-8 is outrageous. They might not win a game this season. The Jets are trash, okay? Darrelle Revis needs to retire right now. He needs to follow Andre Johnson and say, you know what? I'm done. Get whatever check you can get. And he looks like trash. But at the same time, I don't know why they're waiting to move him to safety or whatever. They're probably going to cut him in the middle of the season. I think they want to just embarrass him after all he did to the Jets franchise overall. They're going to do Darrelle Revis really, really dirty. I think they're going to do him dirty. But overall, Fitzpatrick is a clown. You know what I'm saying? AKA Pick Patrick. Geno Smith went out, had a chance, played well for the most part, then got hurt. Fitzpatrick went on a rant. My team don't believe in me. The owner don't believe in me. Yeah. When you throw 6 picks in a game, you know, it's possible that people won't believe in you. But the Jets is a hot mess. The Browns are worse. So good luck if you're a fan of either team. The Chargers and the Broncos. Chargers played extremely hard. And again, Phillip Rivers, still, I will always tell you this. He's an elite QB. He does a lot with little all the time. It's regular stuff. Does the man have sex all the time and has 19 kids? Yes. He doesn't give a F. I understand all that. I can't judge him for that. The man loves vagina. That's on him. But what I'm saying is he goes out. He throws the ball like, you know, a dead squirrel, but he gets the job done. Okay? I know the defense is really, really struggling right now with the Chargers. Melvin Gordon tried to injure the other coordinator, the defensive coordinator. What's his name? I forgot his name. The fat guy over there. Walt something. Whatever his name is. But he's playing a lot better than last season, Melvin Gordon. I don't know what they've changed, but the Chargers, they have potential, but half of their roster's on IR. So I can't really go hard on the players. I can say that, you know, a lot of things that are going on. Mike McCoy is a douche, stuff like that. But they have, who else has half their team on IR? Who else? The Chargers just have they have something just on them, like a black realm of death all over them, bro, because it's just really, really bad. And it's been like that for a while. The Broncos, however, Simeon made some great plays, for the most part. His arm is pretty weak, though. He couldn't really get the ball down the field the way he was supposed to, but he's sufficient enough to get them to victory. So the Broncos, where they are right now, listen, man, I'm telling you right now, John Elway is pretty good at what he does, because I didn't foresee them doing this well just based solely on their defense, because the offense is putting up some points, whatever like that, but the defense is so dangerous that they're more than likely going to be the number one scoring defense when it's all said and done, in my opinion. So it's like a nice little bounce that's going on, and I really like what I'm seeing. So I just have to wait and just be careful with it, but I know the Broncos and the Pats are going to meet, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos are able to pull it off. That's the only problem that I see for the Patriots. The Steelers, I'm keeping them out of it right now, because Mike Tomlin has been disappointing me over the last couple of weeks. You know, losses to Miami, I don't know what he's doing. But it is what it is. We have to wait to see where the Broncos go. Packers and the Falcons, this game was really, really good. Last minute score with the Falcons, Sanu, they get the win. Aaron Rodgers looked really, really good this game. So I can't call him a bum. And I remember I asked the Packers fans in my last video, you know, what do you guys think? And they told me straight up, they said, look, man, the guys are not getting open. Because it's very, very hard for me to call Aaron Rodgers a bum. I suggested that he was declining, but he's so talented, it's very, very hard for me to say that. And when I say you're a bum, you usually are a bum. You know what I'm saying? And I could never, because you see how seamless he was throwing the ball, like zipping it everywhere, like right on target. He's a great quarterback, man. And like I said, I don't know if they just started getting open more, yesterday, whatever it is. They don't really have a running game anymore. It's very, very tough. People don't understand how good a running game is. You know, it's so tough for Aaron Rodgers right now because he doesn't have those key things that he needs to be successful. You have, the best friend of a quarterback is a good running game. And then your wide receivers are not getting open and all kinds of stuff is going on. You know, Jordy Nelson played pretty decent yesterday, but, it's very, very tough, guys. It's not something that's easy. That's why I have to give Aaron Rodgers a lot of credit. But the defense let them down yesterday. Point blank, period. Matty Dry Ice, that Julio Jones is going to be putting in work, but then now you got to deal with Sanu also. I know Sanu is so happy he got away from Cincinnati, but he's playing like it. And these guys are working out, they're meshing, but I don't trust the Falcons. And I think they're going to find a way to disappoint their fans and everybody very, very soon. But did they play a hell of a game yesterday? You damn right they did. It was huge. They played a great game. So I can't knock that, but it was a tough loss for Aaron Rodgers, and it's not like something you could just say, you know what, it's all on Aaron Rodgers. Dude played a great game. But coming down to the wire with the highlight game of the day, the Eagles and the Cowboys, Dak Prescott started out very, very bad. He started out very, very bad. And let me tell you something. He started getting blitz heavy in the fourth quarter, which is why they couldn't do anything. And dudes were just coming free on 4-man blitzes. That was craziness. That was craziness right there. But in the overtime, when he stepped up, made the throws, bro, he made those throws that he needed to make, and ultimately he hit, Jason Witten wide open, just sitting there by himself after the two Philadelphia Eagle defenders collided together. Let me just be very, very clear. Jerry Jones is saying that, he's going to play against the Browns, whatever like that. They're not, concretely saying that Tony Romo's career is over. They need to make sure that Tony Romo's ready to be a backup. And you can see it on Tony Romo's face that he knows he's finished. That man better not be inserted into the starting lineup. The Cowboys fans, listen, you guys better be ready to riot if they even think about putting Tony Romo in right now and screwing his chemistry up with all these boys. It better not happen, okay, for Cowboys Nation, and just to make sure that the franchise stays secure. Because this is the best quarterback you guys have had since Troy Aikman, in my opinion. Now, the Eagles, they've continuously disappointed me over the last 3 weeks. Even though they beat the Vikings, they beat the hell out of the Vikings, but the Vikings was due for a loss. But Carson Wentz got really, really chucked. He got really tight, scared towards the end of the game. In my opinion, he was making very, very bad throws. And what was up with that throw to the fullback against Derek Carr at the end? You got all these other wide receivers and you choose the fullback. The Eagles play caller that made that call should be fired right now as this podcast is being done. But that's besides the point. The bottom line of everything is the Cowboys can really, really play with anyone, in my opinion, right now, defensively and offensively. Be aware. You guys have a nice, happy Halloween. Be safe. Drive safe. There's kids on the street. I'll see you guys next time. One love.